So here we go with the list of 10 major fears that I have encountered that people share with me that they struggle with regarding home education. I have listed them here on my laptop, so I'm just going to read them out to you. Number 1, I'm afraid that I'm not adequately equipped to do this. I'd like to dive right in here and actually talk about that. But what I'm going to do is read through the list of 10, and then we'll take one by one, and we'll be able to address each one. And I'm going to share with you why you are actually equipped to be able to home educate, and you need not have that fear. Number 2, you're afraid that you will not have the patience that you need to home educate, especially that you don't feel you've got the patience in the short time that you do have the children at home in the afternoons with their homework and their relationship with one another, the siblings, and so on. You perhaps feel your patience is shorter than it needs to be. Well, that is another one of the fears that people have, that I better not home educate because I'm not patient enough. We'll talk more in detail about that one as well. 3, you might be afraid of rejection. Rejection in dealing with other people's non-acceptance of this decision that you make as a family to home educate. So that's another fear, rejection. You're afraid that you might be limiting your children in some way, be it socially or sport. Maybe you're afraid that your children are not going to excel academically. Perhaps you don't feel confident academically yourself, so you feel your own inadequacy is perhaps going to limit your children in some way. So you're afraid of that. These are all very real fears. There's nothing to be feeling ashamed that you have this fear. But what we do need to do is dispel it. You don't need to continue in fear. It's very important that we help you to dispel that fear. That's the wrong part. It's very real that you might have the fear. The wrong part is to keep living in it and feeding it even. Afraid that I'm disorganized and I need to be organized because I see my very organized friend who home educates, or maybe I don't even see that. I just know in myself I'm not a very organized person, so now I'm afraid that my disorganization is going to let me down and I'm not going to be able to do it. And clearly, if I'm going to home educate, I need to have order, and that I feel I'm lacking, so I'm afraid. That's another one. And I'm also afraid that I'm not going to be giving each of my individual children enough. I'm afraid that I'm going to be spread too thin, and I won't be able to have time for the different children because of the different age levels, and how am I going to cope with it all? I'm afraid that my children's relationships with each other is going to suffer because I see even the short time that I have them in the afternoons after school, I have to work on their relationships in the little bit of time that they're together. When they're at school, they go to different classrooms, they've got their peers, and now they're at home all the time. I'm afraid that's going to possibly damage good relationships between them, right? And I'm afraid that I don't know which curriculum to buy. This never used to be a problem because there were so few to choose from, and you just knew I wanted that or that, apples or pears. But now there's a basket full of fruit and many, many different choices. And you're afraid that you're not going to make the right decision about curriculum. How are you going to be certain that this is the actual curriculum that you need? So we're going to talk about that some more. This last one is a very serious one, and that is moms sharing with me that they're afraid that they are going to fail their children and that they're not going to be adequate, and their own inadequacy, their weaknesses that they're aware of in their own characters is actually going to be damaging to their children. That one is very sad because it doesn't need to be there, and it might be real, but the reason why it's sad is because people are not home educating their children because of that. And it's the very thing that can actually help restore a lot of and develop one's character and actually do a whole lot of good for your children. The very thing that stops people from home educating is this last fear I'm talking about. And so I feel saddened about that because I just know how much good can come for the whole family and for the children, and how much they love their mom and their dad, and yet their mom or their dad are holding back from being able to give to them because of their own fear. So we'll be talking about that one some more. And there is your list of the 10 top fears that I'm aware of, that I'm hear of. People talk to me about them, and I would like to share with you in depth on each one of those.